That's right, silence. Sometimes valued as gold, but in many situations, it can be the worst enemy you can let win. Have you ever felt your conscience pricking you for not speaking up when you see injustice or wrongdoing happening right in front of you? Imagine if we all stayed silent when we needed to speak out. In these situations, is silence still the right choice? Have you ever thought? There are moments in life when silence actually destroys the most important values we hold. In this video, we'll explore 5 situations where you should never stay silent. If you want to protect yourself, stand firm in your principles and live true to the values you believe in. Imagine, in crucial moments, staying silent can cause you to lose opportunities, lose respect, and sometimes even lose important relationships. For sure, after watching this video, you'll no longer think that silence is always the safest choice. In fact, you'll find that sometimes speaking out is the way to truly change your life and the lives of those around you. Get ready, because this video won't just change the way you view silence. It will make you take action right away. 1. When facing injustice. Have you ever thought, why can't we stay silent when faced with injustice? Yes, silence can be a natural response, a way to protect yourself from conflict. But staying silent in unjust situations is actually collusion with wrongdoing. Have you ever thought that silence doesn't just affect us personally, but can have long-lasting consequences for the community, even society at large? Let's take a deeper look to better understand this issue. Remember, silence in the face of injustice is not always the safe or correct choice. In moments of injustice, whether at work, in the family, or within the community, staying silent is how we avoid responsibility. But in reality, it is a way to maintain an unjust situation, prolong it, and harm everyone involved. The reason is that when we stay silent, we create an environment where injustice can thrive unchecked. What are the consequences of silence? However, not all silence leads to bad outcomes immediately, but over time, silence will normalize everything. Unjust actions will not be seen as wrong, but instead will be considered normal. For example, at work, if a colleague is continuously discriminated against, but no one speaks up, this situation will continue and become part of the company culture, and more people will end up in similar circumstances. Have you ever thought about the impact of silence in these situations on the community? We don't live in isolation, but are part of a larger community. When you stay silent, you're not just leaving one person or group of people at a disadvantage. You're contributing to maintaining an unjust system that can affect the whole community. That's why silence in these situations not only harms those directly affected, but also damages fairness and the sustainable development of society. In fact, silence can turn a small problem into a bigger one. Like an untreated wound, injustice will keep spreading and cause invisible pain. For example, look at the #MeToo movement. If there hadn't been people brave enough to speak out about harassment, would society have recognized the severity of the issue? If the first people hadn't broken the silence, we might still be lost in a simplistic view of this issue, and many would continue to suffer in silence without a chance to speak out. Silence is also a betrayal of yourself. That's right. Do you think that not speaking out in situations of injustice won't affect you? The biggest mistake is thinking that it's none of our business. In fact, when we stay silent, we lose our own value and dignity. We might feel comfortable in the short term, but a part of us will always feel regret and unease. The reason is that deep down, we know silence is not the right choice. And this, even though it doesn't show on the outside, creates a dark spot in our lives. But don't worry, there's a way to change this. Don't think speaking out against injustice is hard or requires grand gestures. You can start with small steps. like standing up for someone at work, asking questions in meetings to clarify the truth, or simply standing up when you see someone being treated unfairly. These actions not only help protect others, but also reinforce your own self-respect and sense of value. Don't just think these issues don't affect you, because they actually have a powerful impact on all of us. And the most important thing is that you don't need to do anything grand to create change. Start with small but meaningful actions, and never stay silent when you witness injustice. If you found this content useful, don't forget to like and share it with your friends, so we can create a stronger community where injustice has no place. 2. When your personal boundaries are violated. When your personal boundaries are violated, what will you do? Will you stay silent, let things pass, and suffer quietly? Or will you speak up to protect yourself? Don't stay silent when someone crosses your personal boundaries, because that silence could destroy what you've built over a long time. The problem is, staying silent when your personal boundaries are violated doesn't just make you suffer. It blurs your value in the eyes of others and can cause you to lose respect from those around you. You might not realize it immediately, but these silent wounds will accumulate and turn into a large scar in your heart, affecting your confidence and happiness. Think about this. When you don't speak up to defend what you deserve, you make yourself into an easygoing person, and people around you won't know where your limits are. That could be a boss asking you to work overtime without extra pay, or a friend disrespecting your feelings and continually violating your personal space. Staying silent in these situations will only make you a victim and prevent you from building healthy relationships. But why do we stay silent when violated like this? Is it because we're afraid of upsetting others, or think we don't have the right to demand respect? Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, once said, "What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee." If you don't protect yourself, others won't know how to treat you. And the more you stay silent, the more they will interpret that silence as acceptance. Setting boundaries is not a selfish act, but a way to assert your self-worth. And when you do that, you're not just protecting yourself, you're also asserting respect in every relationship. So, what will you do? Remember, silence will only make the issue worse. Don't wait until it's too late. Communicate clearly and assertively from the beginning. Set boundaries and show everyone that you deserve respect. Have the courage to speak up, not only to protect yourself, but also to maintain healthy relationships around you. Share how you protect your boundaries in life, because no one can help you if you don't help yourself first. Share this video and help others realize that protecting yourself and your personal values is the most important thing. 3. When you need to be honest to maintain integrity. When you need to be honest to maintain integrity, don't trade your values for ease. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where telling the truth might break a relationship or hurt someone else? How can you maintain your integrity while still keeping harmony in relationships? This is one of the challenges we face in life, when the truth is not only a responsibility, but also a test of courage. The issue is, silence or lying in difficult situations will hurt you in the long run. That's when trust is eroded, and you will also lose trust in yourself. Honest words are the foundation of every good relationship, from friendship and family to work. If you avoid the truth to sidestep the consequences, you're not only protecting yourself from discomfort, but you're also killing the relationship from within. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it is wrong, don't say it. If it is right, don't do it." Honesty is not a luxury to be used only when things are easy. Honesty is a responsibility you must bear, especially in tough situations. But this doesn't mean you need to force the truth brutally. Honesty needs to come with tact and empathy, because how you say something will greatly impact how others receive the truth. You may have witnessed a situation where a colleague made a major mistake. You could stay silent, avoid trouble, or you could speak the truth to maintain integrity at work. Think about this. Choosing to tell the truth will help build your reputation, not just for yourself, but also create a healthy and trustworthy work environment. Sometimes, telling the truth might lead to discomfort, but it's the key to preserving long-term respect and trust. Maintaining integrity in every situation is not easy, but it's necessary. Honesty is not always easy, but remember, when you choose to speak the truth with tact and empathy, you will always preserve your integrity without hurting anyone. Think about the person you're communicating with. Put yourself in their shoes and find a way to speak that is both honest and gentle. A truthful, yet understanding and respectful statement will help maintain the relationships you value. So, have you ever struggled with telling the truth in your life? Share your story so we can all learn together, because the truth not only helps you maintain integrity, but also earns you genuine respect from those around you. Share this video so people understand that honesty is not just an obligation, but also a skillful way to preserve relationships in life. 4. When you need to correct your mistakes. You might wonder, when you need to correct your mistakes, why isn't silence the best option? Well, have you ever made a mistake and stayed silent, hoping things would work out on their own? Sometimes, you just want to ignore it and hope things fade with time. But there's a truth you can't ignore. When you don't correct your mistakes, you're not just creating a gap in your relationships, but you're creating cracks that will be hard to mend later. You can't let silence cover the truth. Imagine this. One day, you make a mistake at work, perhaps a wrong decision, or overlooking an important detail. You don't correct it immediately, and you let it slide, hoping things will be fine. But do you realize, the mistake will never fix itself? It will grow, spread, and eventually hurt the relationships you're trying to build. Silence in such moments is not safety, but a sign of weakness. When you don't acknowledge your mistakes, you're inadvertently nurturing distrust. The more you avoid it, the worse the issue becomes. So what does this mean for you? Maybe you've heard this quote from Marcus Aurelius: "Becoming better is the only way." Exactly. To grow, you need to dare to face and admit when you're wrong. Not to please others, but to affirm yourself. Admitting mistakes doesn't make you weak, but a sign of maturity. Every time you correct a mistake, you not only regain trust from others, but you also boost your own confidence. That's the only way to build a stronger life. Think about the famous leaders we admire, like Abraham Lincoln or Steve Jobs. Lincoln didn't just lead the country through the Civil War. He also stood out because he dared to admit and correct his mistakes in policy. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, also wouldn't have built a global tech empire if he hadn't faced failure in the early days. They weren't people who never made mistakes, but they were people who knew how to correct and learn from those failures. What made the difference was their ability to rise after each fall. If they hadn't recognized and fixed their mistakes, would we see their success today? Never let a mistake pass without fixing it. When you make a mistake, don't wait until the situation gets complicated. Face it immediately. The important thing is that you not only admit the mistake, but also take action to fix it. You can start by honestly acknowledging the mistake and finding a solution. Don't try to hide or avoid it, because every time you correct a mistake, you're getting closer to maturity and earning trust from others. Remember, fixing a mistake doesn't make you weaker, it makes you stronger. Always remember, correcting mistakes isn't easy, but it's the only way for you to grow. How have you corrected a mistake in your life? Share your story, because every time you fix a mistake, You're teaching all of us a valuable lesson. Don't hesitate to tag a friend who needs help, and let's learn together how to become the best version of ourselves. 5. When you need to protect your personal values and principles. Have you ever felt the need to stay silent in crucial moments when your core values are being challenged? And maybe you've experienced this feeling, not daring to speak up, not daring to defend what I believe in, just because I'm afraid of being criticized or losing others' approval. But did you know, staying silent at such moments can destroy you from within? Don't mistake silence for keeping the peace. That silence can cost you yourself. Little by little, when you don't protect your principles, you lose respect for yourself. Just one moment of silence can make you ask, what have I done with the values I've built all this time? What you believe in suddenly fades, and you become uncertain about your own path. Think about what would happen if no one stood up to protect the core values of society. If everyone chose silence, would we still live in a fair world where honesty, courage, and respect are valued? No. It would be a world full of compromises and negativity, where wrong things are accepted as normal. We can't let that happen, can we? It's time to realize that silence is not a safe option, but a compromise with what's wrong. Don't let yourself become part of something unworthy of you. The price of silence is often a life that can never truly be peaceful, because you'll live in a sense of being suffocated and restricted. Small mistakes, when not stopped, will start to grow. We cannot afford to ignore them. Look at great role models like Nelson Mandela, who never stayed silent in the face of wrong. Even facing danger, he stood firm in defending his values, because he understood that fighting for justice, freedom, and equality is what makes life meaningful. And so can you. You have the right to stand up and protect your values. Never allow yourself to fall into silence when you know you're right. Speaking up to protect those principles will make all the difference, not just for you, but for those around you. All it takes is one person to speak up, and everything will change. So, don't stay silent anymore. Don't let silence be your only choice. Live boldly, live with principles, and always remember that the truth, no matter how difficult, is always worth pursuing. If you find these thoughts helpful, don't forget to click the subscribe button to explore more profound Stoic lessons. And if you think this article can help someone, share it now so we can create a strong community that knows how to protect its core values.